Hello there, my name is Chrissy Hodges, and I am coming to you live today from Denver, Colorado. Hashtag Groinal Girl as well. I want to also wish anyone who celebrates a happy Easter. And I wanted to do a video this weekend in particular because I know holidays can be really tough. A lot of times you're going home to family or you're going home to situations that can remind you of times that were tough or remind you that you've had OCD for a long time, which can trigger OCD to be worse. And I think that this video is running a little slow. I apologize. But today I wanted to talk about my favorite, the OCD theme that is homosexual OCD. So a couple reasons why I wanted to talk about this today. First of all, I work with an enormous amount of people that suffer with HOCD. And when we are suffering with it, we feel like we're alone. So I definitely wanted to let you know that you aren't alone and that this is a very common type of OCD. But I also wanted to talk to you about it today because there's another piece of this that comes along with it that I wanted to talk about. And that is how guilty people feel about having HOCD when they don't feel like being homosexual is wrong or bad or immoral. This is a lot different from, for us, sometimes that suffer with HOCD, it feels a lot different than things that are other types of themes for OCD. So we may think about harm OCD and worrying that you're going to want to murder your family or you're going to want to hurt your family, or what if I rape someone, or what if I turn into a pedophile, or some of these things where really these things seem very immoral and are immoral. And so then we associate it with homosexual OCD and we think, but I don't feel like being gay is wrong. And so I feel even worse that I'm scared of being gay. And so here's the thing. We don't choose the type of OCD that we have, and having HOCD does not mean that you have any sort of issue with being gay. Most of the time, people think to themselves, if they've been in HOCD for a very long time, they think to themselves, oh my goodness, if I was gay, I would just come out of the closet and be gay already than to have to deal with the anxiety surrounding being gay. And so it really is this mind screw in your head that you don't want, that you're just sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, if I could just figure it out, it would be way different. So it is hard because a lot of people who are advocates for LGBTQ will say, oh, maybe, it may take offense, but it is important to just explain that this has nothing to do with whether or not people feel like being a homosexual is wrong or immoral. I mean, maybe you do, but for the most part, people that I work with don't feel like it is that big of an issue. It just happens to be the theme that it landed on. So I titled this video, what if I turn gay? Or did I turn gay? Not that there's anything wrong with that. And you know what I'm talking about. It's the Seinfeld episode. It's the one where George and Jerry were mistaken for being homosexuals. And I remember, y'all, watching this episode when I was sick with HOCD in the mid-90s. And I remember thinking, yeah, not like there's anything wrong with it. But look, they can just go on their lives and not have to deal with it and think about it. And then I probably got the groinal somewhere in there and it just made things worse. So I just wanted to drive home again that this is a theme of OCD. It has nothing to do with who you are, what you think about people, or whether you think it's right or wrong. The first time I had to kind of come out with OCD to one of my gay friends, I was terrified. I was like, she's gonna think that I believe there's something wrong with being gay and she's gonna hate me. I was so scared and I was so quiet and I was like shaking and almost cried, and she just busted out laughing. She was like, girl, girl, please. And so again, it really just, because sometimes we compare HOCD to some of the other themes, we often think, well, this must mean that I think that there's something morally wrong, and there's not. A couple other points I want to make during this video, that I've worked with people recently and that have just come to the surface. So, and we may have addressed this in a video a couple of nights ago, but a lot of people will think and worry about the fear of, well, people who are coming out of the closet may have anxiety, and I have anxiety. So what if that anxiety is just anxiety about coming out of the closet? Okay, I'm just going to tell you, this is a fear that almost everyone with HOCD has, and it is just part of the cycle. So it's not as easy as it sounds. However, to entertain fears like that, okay, to try to find some answer to, well, people who are in the closet want to come out of anxiety, so maybe that's what I am. To entertain those kind of fears, it's just going to deepen where you are in that cycle. We all felt that fear. We were all scared of it. One of the things I would like to share with you without giving reassurance is that the common theme of almost every person around the world that I have talked to, those fears came in an instant. I mean, or, just quickly. Maybe you thought about it and then it was, oh, what is that? And then something happened and it solidified that anxiety and all of a sudden you were terrified of it, okay? So it's more of a life-changing thing. It is before that, it was, oh my gosh, I was boy crazy before that. And then in an instant, my life changed. And I wished I could go back to the moment before that thought came. I hear that all the time. I loved girls. I loved looking at girls, not me, but someone else might say, I love girls. I love looking at girls. And then all of a sudden, I had an image of a man in my head and I may have felt the groinal and, oh my God, does that mean I'm gay? And I just turned gay. So it's a common experience that all of us have, most of us have, which is it just came out of the blue. And then all of a sudden it is life-changing for us. Again, this is, I don't have any I don't know the anxiety that people who are in the closet have about coming out of the closet, but I know that anxiety is real too. However, it's very different, and people may tell you, well, you're just in the closet and this and that, and that's fine, but OCD is real. It is an anxiety disorder. The homosexual OCD is a theme. That's it. Because you have OCD regardless. It just came about, on this one day, like I always like to say, the OCD stars aligned. And this was the theme that hooked you. Again, has nothing to do with your character. It has nothing to do with what you feel about people who are homosexual. You may not think it's immoral, but you can't stop worrying if you are or not. And so that is why it got stuck. Okay, so a couple of the other things, I'm so excited about doing this. So a couple of the other things that point to HOCD and that are just maddening about having it is all of a sudden you're getting anxiety about the most ridiculous things. Or you're getting the groinal response to the most ridiculous things because all of a sudden it's on your radar everywhere. It's like, I've got to find proof, or I'm going to find disproof or whatever. So you may start seeing things and thinking to yourself, like, something like this. Lori, I know you're out there. You may, if you're a male, have trouble holding a banana or looking at a banana or eating a banana. And you may think, oh my God, if I enjoy bananas, that must mean that I like penis. And I'm not laughing at you, trust me, because here's another example on my end. Orchids. They're beautiful and you love them, right? But it has often been said that orchids, if you look closely, look like a vagina. So one of the things that might happen would be, I like orchids. Does that mean that I like looking at them because they look like a vagina? And does that mean that because I think it looks like a vagina that I want to like it? And does that mean I want vagina? Trust me, I'm not laughing at you. I am laughing because I understand. You can all of a sudden have anxiety at inanimate objects that remind you, or that you have this type of OCD, or that make you feel like this is proof or that is disproof. So another thing I wanted to address is especially in the regards to people really believing that, I don't feel like being gay is wrong, so I feel terrible for having this type and I don't want people to think it's morally wrong, is when scrupulosity gets involved, or when something else in your mind maybe triggers you to say, I must have done something wrong to deserve this. Okay, so in my case, when I had symptoms of HOCD that were out of control, I worried that I had offended God and I was being punished by God with these horrible thoughts. Okay, remember, like, I did not believe that being homosexual was wrong. So to me, it felt like, I just felt like such a horrible person, thinking, well, it isn't wrong, but I'm just not, and so I couldn't understand what that cycle was, but I kept getting wrapped up if I'm a good person, or if I'm a good enough, Christian, or this or that, or if God is proud of me, then all of this will go away. So again, I just want to reassure you, damn it, I'm reassuring. I just want to reassure you that this is also part of what a lot of us go through, and it has nothing to do with your feelings about whether being gay is right or wrong. However, a lot of people feel this way when they have OCD. You want to use your worldview in a way of like, okay, something bad has happened, so I must have done something to deserve it. And so then you're racking your brain, or you're thinking, I have to atone for this, or I have to ask forgiveness for this, or maybe if I'm a better person, it'll go away. Okay. The real deal is it won't. OCD is chronic. If you are experiencing this, you have got to get treatment. It ebbs and flows. So you may wake up one day and you may think, oh, see, it's not so bad anymore. I think it was just a phase. Okay, well, it's going to come back. And when it does, it's going to be even worse if you have experienced relief. So it's important to get treatment. Last thing, when you have HOCD, one of the biggest criticisms, and I'm going to tell you, it gets trolled a lot on my channel, and I try to remove it as quickly as I can, is people coming out and saying, you're just in the closet, you're just in denial. Okay, well, therapy teaches us this. Therapy teaches, okay, whatever, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I have to live with the uncertainty of that. But if people aren't going to take the time to understand what OCD is, what OCD isn't, and the different themes of OCD, and how this has nothing to do with who you are morally, it has nothing to do with your character. It has nothing to do with what you want, what you desire, anything. If they're not going to take the time to understand that, just don't engage. Try to educate. If they're not hearing it, don't. What I try to tell people is this, and I want you to hear this too. I have worked and met with people and done consulting and peer support all over the globe. Okay, people who, because they know they can talk to me because I've been through it, will open up with the most intimate details of what they have been through. This is the first time they've ever told anybody some of the stuff they've been through. And you know what? It's the same as almost every single one of us that have HOCD. The symptoms are exactly alike. The secondary fears are exactly alike. So when people come at me like that, I think, I try to say to them, if, people across the globe have the same symptoms of cancer, the same, are you going to look at that person and say, you just made cancer up, it doesn't exist? No, you wouldn't. The difference is that we have a mental illness. The difference is that our compulsions are in our mind, and so you can't see them. And the difference is people are not educated about this type of OCD. But that doesn't mean that you have to feel bad that they aren't educated, and that doesn't mean that you can't get help. HOCD, every type of OCD, that's just a thing. HOCD is OCD, and OCD is a treatable disorder. Okay, exposure response prevention is the gold star treatment. A lot of therapists will use supplementary therapy modalities, and absolutely, that's good too. But ERP is what works. Mindfulness helps to supplement. Peer support helps to supplement. But please take the time. Your OCD is going to ebb and flow. Okay, so it's going to be horrible, and then it's going to get better, and you're going to be like, oh, I'll just put treatment off. And I'm going to tell you, a year later, 6 months later, 6 weeks later, it will come back with a vengeance, and it can ruin your life. If you have OCD, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And we all want to believe that we're going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be gone, but we know it's not going to be. Okay, it's not going to be. You can't outthink OCD. You have to get the proper treatment. And when you do, you will be able to manage it. Okay, and you will be able to live successfully with it. So I just wanted to share that with you this week or today, and I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. I know it's a holiday weekend for a lot of people, and so I hope you're enjoying being around your loved ones and eating lots of chocolate and everything else. Again, my name is Chrissy Hodges. If you are looking for peer support or consultation for resources or referrals, please email me at ocd.chrissie@gmail.com or visit my website at chrissyhodges.com. I will see you soon.